Right. So as we begin, I want to welcome you again, a warm welcome. We are super excited that you're here. And I have with me who's going to join me when we go on the virtual stage. I have Alicia Cameron and Dawn Dalip and my good friend Andrea Davis. And this webinar, this training, I wouldn't call it a webinar because you have things to do. It's more than a webinar, right? So this training um, really came about as well. I should back up a bit. All the work that I've been doing since the beginning of COVID, it really came about because of COVID. Starting a free series of sessions in April, and from there was a need, people reaching out. We end up having a mastermind that actually wrapped up about last week or so. We still have our celebration and graduation to do. And then we're having our next cycle of mastermind coming up in next week, Saturday. And all of this came out because of COVID. So if there's one good thing that came out because of COVID is that we have gotten together some powerful, ladies and myself, and we have started to chart a course for ourselves in the midst of the mass confusion. Yeah, we now call ourselves, as Alicia has claimed the name of Tribers. Yeah, we now call ourselves the Tribers. So I want to share with you this evening just a snippet of some of the foundation work that we have done in that session. It's information that I would have shared on Carib Agile platform already for Agile professionals and got fantastic response. I mean, people actually took action after the session. One person resigned the next week. People actually took action. They took action after the session to make changes in their lives so that they can live more fulfilling life. And I said, okay, Charlene, you need to share this a little bit more. And that's one of the reasons why we're here. So let me get going. I always have to have a glass of water. Just give me 1 minute. I have a half a glass here. We'll see if it survives the session. So what I'm going to do is share a presentation, some slides I have with you. And after that presentation, I'm going to grab my fabulous ladies, and then we're going to have a conversation of how they have created a space where they can take action and prioritize themselves. This year is really about making yourself priority, because we are so distracted. One thing I've realized and noticed in my sessions, like the mastermind session, and even before that, some trainings that I had previously, like a year or two ago, in every session, somebody's going to drop out. And somebody drops out because of work. And I've come to the conclusion, when we do that, what we're really saying is that work takes priority over us. We are not creating a space. We're not creating any time for ourselves to develop ourselves. So if only we would put in effort and the hours and the energy that we put in our jobs, I'm not saying that is wrong. By all means, we need to. If we are professionals, we must deliver as expected and raise the bar, seek to raise the bar every time. Yet we have to make time and space for ourselves. If only we will pay attention, if only we will invest the time and the energy and the effort in ourselves as we did with our work. The world is ours. So much we can accomplish in terms of building our skills and our goals and our family life that we have to balance all the time with work. Our life revolves around work, and work does not revolve around our life. I want to share with you, as I went through my various training programs, what I found to be necessary foundational steps before we try to chart our course to get better, before we try to chart our course to achieve our goals, because many times we fall off the bandwagon, and including me, I am Mr. Bandwagonist. Okay, so it's really what can we do as a foundation to make sure that we stay on top of our goals, whatever they may be. whether they may be for your family. I remember coaching someone and she had a very simple but powerful goal, and that was to spend more time with her father. So whatever your goal may be, the question is, how do we shift our focus to give our energy and attention to our goals also, and not just our work goals or any other goals that are not, for us. Yeah. So give me some time. Let me start to share here. Let's get that going. I'm some the band here and all kind of stuff. Make sure I'm in the right place. Alrighty, not there, not there. Show all windows. We are almost there as soon as I find, oh, here you go. It was hiding down at the bottom. I opened so many windows. All right, so let's go. So the journey has begun. So as I said, these are the 3 steps that I have discovered. And they're part of a bigger picture, as you see as we go along. But this is just a snippet, just a few steps to get you started on that journey when you make a decision that you want to achieve something that will either level up your life or up your career. Now, we figured that if you had graced us with your presence this Friday evening, and we have no drinks for you, we have no beers for you, we figured the least we could do is give you a gift or 2. So stick around, and at the end of the session, we do have a seat that's going up in the mastermind coming up next week, Saturday. And we do have a coaching session up for grabs. So that's 2 gifts that we have that we're going to give you, if you're lucky enough, that we're going to give you just for being here with us. So let's go. So the question I want you to ask yourself is really, why are you here? And be honest with yourself. You don't have to share with us, but you be honest with yourself as to why are you here? What piqued your interest? What piqued your interest that made you, make you sit up and say, all right, I want to attend. Really, what piqued your interest? So that's what you have to ask yourself. What piqued your interest to get you here this evening? So as you answer that question, I want you to bear in mind, what are you going to do differently this year? 2020 was a year of reckoning. 2020 was a year when we really learned how insignificant we are, when we really learned that things can change in a snap, when we really learn what we took for granted, we shouldn't really take for granted. Yeah, we say life is fragile. Yes, we say life, we shouldn't take it for granted, but we know we all do when we get busy and when we get into our routines. But it surely woke us up as to how fragile our life is, how life is really short, and how our time is really short. And the question is, what are we going to do with our time? Are we going to continue living the life of, I call it a hamster on a wheel, going wrong in a wheel, or are we going to live a more fulfilling life? Life is really, as I say, if it's one thing COVID woke us up with, is life is short. Life is short. What are you going to do that's different this year to live a richer, fuller life? What are you going to do different this year to show your loved ones that you truly love them? What are you going to do different this year to really invest in yourself? And when I talk about invest, people always figure talking about money. No, that's not it. What are you going to do differently this year to invest time in yourself? I mean, I'm talking to you nicely, but sometimes I stay up pretty late doing work. Of course, in my business, if I have a project or if I have a proposal. And I knock myself on my hand for that. But what I also love about myself is that when it reaches a certain time, I don't care where I reach in the middle of the sentence. I don't care what I'm doing. The laptop just comes down, and I simply say, I'm going to my bed. Of course, that may be crazy hours, but at some point in time, I tell myself, Shannon, this is silliness. You know that you're much better, you're more productive in the morning, early in the morning, so go in your bed. And that's a little conversation. So it's always a continuous conversation, a continuous self conversation that we have to keep tabs on ourselves so that we do not lose sight of what we are truly trying to achieve. Because sometimes we engage in what I call self sabotaging behaviors, and we have to call ourselves out. So we always have to be on the lookout of what are we doing? Is it adding to us? Is it, I call it, is it self-sabotaging or is it life-giving? Is it giving yourself life or is it self-sabotaging? Now, many times we set goals and we set goals in a way that it's devoid from who we are. There's no connection with the goals. And that is what we want to free ourselves from. We set goals in our heads, and sometimes we do write them down, and that's all, we write them down. You know, we don't go back. So we want to, for this year, really to focus on setting our goals formally, properly, and also having a plan of action to achieve those goals. Because whether we do, I always say, you know, it's like somebody saying that they don't want to study because it's going to take so many years. But the thing is, whether we do something for ourselves to lift ourselves up or we don't do anything, the time is going to fly anyway. So we might as well use the time to do something for ourselves. Now, for those who don't, you know, who, if you don't know me, if we haven't met online or face to face, I am Charlene Pedro. I am glad you're here, of course. And I enjoy sharing what I've learned. I enjoy sharing my experiences. And I get this sense of fulfillment. For me, my joy is when somebody can reach that aha moment. My joy is when somebody can recognize that where they are, why they have been struggling internally, is because their values are not aligned to their situation. My joy is when somebody could say, you know, because of that conversation with you, I went on and do X, Y, and Z, and look where I am now. It's like, I feel like a mommy with children. I told a young one that once. I feel like a mommy with children when I see people succeeding and moving and progressing. So I am the founder of Conventus Consulting, which is an HR consultancy. And I also do corporate training and I do personal development training and coaching, hence the mastermind. So this commitment is for you. It's not for me. I want you to focus on you. Focus on what we're going to do here. So if you have various tabs, I mean, at this point, we're not supposed to do any work, right? If you have various tabs, you close down your tabs. You know, if you have your phone, you can put the phone aside for a while, you know, just put it down. And as we go along, if there's anything that I have for you, you just take a little note. I mean, I do that when I do, you know, I go on as a participant, as webinars, mastermind. You take a little note, whether you have your idea notebook, because if you're taking notes, so I found if you're taking notes all over the place, you don't go back to the notes. But if you have a little, and it can be anything. I have so many books for everything. So if it could be a little aha notebook, a First Citizen book, I have a book for my clients, I have a book for my notes doing. I have various notebooks because I don't want things all over the place. So I have notebooks dedicated for things for me to write. Once you find a system that works with you, you run with it. So take some time for you this evening and focus on you. So we're on a mission this evening. We're on a mission, and I want you to promise yourself that when you finish here, that you will take one action towards your goal. I also want you to promise yourself that when you leave here, this is a softer promise. The first one you must stick to. The second one, I want you to connect with somebody and start to expand your network. Because when we start to work on our goals, when we start to work on our goals, we will soon realize that we need more than just ourselves. A network is powerful. So what are we doing this evening as we go through? We're going to look at self-leadership. Now, many times you don't hear much about self-leadership. We hear about leadership. But self-leadership precedes any type of leadership. It precedes team leadership. It precedes authentic leadership, the different styles of leadership. Because we can't lead others if we cannot lead ourselves. If we are in disarray, who in heaven's name are we leading? So, to achieve what we want to achieve, the skills we have today cannot take us to where we want to go tomorrow. If you want to if you want a promotion in your job, the skills you have in your current level, you might get promoted. They used to say, what take you there wouldn't keep you there. So it's the same thing in life. As you shift to go up the next level, you have to examine yourself and see, what skills do I need to upgrade? What do I need to level up to get to that next level? And that's really the missing piece of the puzzle. We will check and see how on the next point, why self-awareness is critical to what we want to achieve. Why is it critical to our success? If we don't understand our strengths, if we don't understand what areas we need to develop, then we may be setting ourselves up. We may be setting ourselves up for severe disappointment and for failure. And the real secrets of goal achievement is what we will find out in the end. So when we're talking about being a self-leader, we're really talking about accountability. We are speaking about not blaming our circumstances and what's happening around us. It's easy to say that we haven't done something because of X, Y, and Z, whereas it may be true that there are circumstances that may delay us or even define our what we can achieve. I mean, if we do research, we must ask ourselves, why is it that some people that come from, depressed areas and really started off with nothing in life, how did they make it out? What's the difference? I mean, even in my neighborhood, I remember going to school in secondary school, and we had someone who came from one of the junior sex, and none of them down crying, but we know in terms of the education system in Trinidad, how students are ushered into one school as opposed to the other. And generally we will feel that based on what society tells us, we'll feel that people who are in the so-called better off schools and prestige schools are smarter, brighter, and will succeed more in life. But I want to tell you that I had a friend who came from not a prestige school, eventually went to the school after Form 3 or 4 when they used to do that switch, and worked, saved his money, went abroad and studied, and now you could call him Dr. Petite, and came from very humble beginnings. So what is it? What is it that people come from a certain status in life or a certain circle, and yet still they are able to rise above that and achieve their goals? And that's what we're talking about when we talk about self-leadership. Taking responsibility to where you want to go and not relying on your circumstances as a reason why you shouldn't move forward. So when we're talking about self-leadership, in terms of the pillars, what are we really, really talking about? Anybody could give me what are some of the things you feel that, you must do when developing your self-leadership skills? I gave you the answer in earlier, one of the first answers. What are some of the things you feel that you must develop, that you must inquire about when you Did I hear something?
Oh, so I was going to, Charlene, good evening. Hi, Nicola Joseph.
Hi.
Hi, I was going to say self-awareness, being
you got it, yeah. That's right, yeah. Self-awareness, the very, very, very first pillar That's fantastic and paying attention, and you're correct. The very first pillar of self leadership is self discovery, understanding what your values are, understanding what your fifth why, what we call the why that makes you cry, asking yourself why, and going deeper until that why speaks to you in your core and you're emotional about why you're doing something. So understanding your values, understanding your fifth why, understanding your vision, and also understanding your strengths and your areas to develop. And when you finish that now, then you can look at yourself in the mirror. We did an exercise, look in the mirror in our mastermind. That was a very powerful exercise. It was so simple and powerful. I myself was surprised, and it's about self-acceptance. When you have discovered yourself, how do we accept ourselves? Who do we see when we look in the mirror? I actually have a mirror right here. All right, I have a mirror right here. So, and I wonder why it's there, because sometimes I may be late for a Zoom call and now putting on the lipsticks. I usually have a mirror in the ground close by. So, let me put it on the ground. So it's about looking at yourself in the mirror and accepting who you are and making a decision as to where you want to go. Then how do we manage ourselves when we understand our strengths, our areas to develop, when we accept who we are, when we know where we want to go because we have decided before where we want to go. Now, how do we manage ourselves to get us there? And, once you've set a goal, once you have a path to get in somewhere, it's more than that. The question is, who do you need to become to raise to that next level? Who do you need to become? What we spoke about habits. What habits do you need to eliminate? And what habits do you need to develop and nurture to reach where you want to reach? Because it's not only about the goal setting, it's about developing the habits that will support where you want to go. It's about eliminating, as I said, those self-sabotaging habits. I have a joke that I had shared in the mastermind that, one night I sat down and binge watched a series on Netflix, and I couldn't even remember the name of the series. So that can tell you how it added value to my life. Nothing, just wasted hours. And then tired in the morning, couldn't get up, had to get up the same 6 o'clock to do what I had to do. That was a self-sabotaging period, a self-sabotaging night. And sometimes those series get you hooked. You just click and you stay there until they ask if you're still watching because you've been watching so many episodes. So it's about self-management and understanding, are you a morning person? Are you a night person? I am morning. How many of us are morning? Let me hear in the chat. Are you morning or are you night? Are you morning or are you night? Let's see my chat. Okay, Nicole is morning. Cheryl is morning. All right. Morning, Janelle. Yeah, to make it get so much Talia. Darim, I don't know. I think you'll find out soon enough. When you really start to work and stuff, you'll find out. Nice, Kelly, you and my husband can line together. So we must find out whether we are morning. Michelle, you're night. Wow. We must find out because we must know when we want to do our best work. So like I was telling somebody yesterday, I got up at 5 or half 5 and I got so much done, got up, said my prayers, can't remember if I had breakfast, but I went outside and watered my plants because my anthuriums dry up by midday in the back, came inside to do some work on a project and a proposal, went to the bank and came back for 10 o'clock meeting. So it's really about knowing, whether you're a night person or a morning person and knowing yourself. So that's the key, knowing yourself. And then, of course, we have self-growth. So everything culminates to self-growth. When we do all that backstory and all that back work, then we can chart and develop a personal development plan. And it doesn't have to be anything grand. It can be a sheet of paper that you write down, whatever. Just have to keep it in front of you. Don't, not know what's on it, and you really work towards that. So this is really having an honest conversation with yourself. And then I added purpose, the path, and the pace, because so many times we don't know the purpose of what we're doing, and that's why the self-discovery and the fifth why is important. And then, of course, our path is ours to follow. and nobody else's. We can't run somebody else's race because you set your purpose, your path, and your pace. It's really a grave error. I'm sure you would agree. It's really a grave error to compare our race, to compare our pace, what we want to achieve with others. It just gets us, we underestimate ourselves and we feel we're not doing enough and we're not moving fast enough because somebody's getting promoted before us, because somebody is doing this before us, faster than us. We have to understand that our pace is our pace. We stay in our lane. We run in our lane, and put your blinders on. Put your blinders on. Don't focus on other people, because the energy you give into other people, you could abuse that energy and focus on yourself. Now, why is self-leadership the missing piece of the puzzle? And exactly as Nicholas said, it's really about self-awareness. That's the missing piece, part of the missing piece of the puzzle. And it's the main missing piece, and it's these various areas in self-awareness that we want to focus on this evening. Just 3 areas in self-awareness and under the self-discovery pillar. Now, in that self-awareness is understanding our strengths. So many times we feel that we don't have what is required. And let me ask you, if you had to, you see a vacancy and you look at it, what are you looking for in the first instance? When you see a vacancy, what are you looking for in the first instance? What are you looking for? What are you looking for?
To see if there are matches or
to see
alignments in terms of your
requirements.
Yeah.
If you meet the requirements. So would you focus, what do you tick off? What you have or what you don't have? What would you tick off? They say they want ABC. What would you tick off? Would you look for what you have or what you don't have? I see Cheryl say have, Michelle say have. What is easier to look for, what you have or what you don't have? Let me know. You can hit me up in the chat. Let me hear. We have more than 3 people here. Let me hear from you all. What do you look for? What you have? No right or wrong answers. Just want to get a gauge. What you have or what you don't have. So I'm seeing a few people have said what they have. Yeah, I see Dylan said what they don't have, and that's usually the case. Yeah. Okay, Nicole say look for what you have, but sometimes you look for what you don't have. Take the X for what I don't have. I mean, that's what I used to do. That's what I used to do. Take the X for what I don't have. And many times we don't recognize our strengths. And we feel, sometimes somebody have to tell us our strengths. Somebody have to say we are good at this. And if we listen closely, we really will find not only our strengths, but we'll really find our gifts. And that's what we have been endowed and blessed with that can really make an impact in somebody else's life. So it's very important for us to find our strengths and also find our, what I call our superpower. I think I better, let me just pause here and plug this in so we wouldn't get any, it's probably that time. Just 1 second.
So in addition to our strengths now, we want to also look at our mindset. Because we know here in this scenario, in this environment, this COVID environment, how we can feel. We so longed to go back out and be with nature. Let me hear how many people were longing to go back out. Were you longing to go back out? Yeah? So many of us were just waiting. I was waiting. As a matter of fact, I think I had a little fear of going back out to nature. So much so that I actually had to call up my walking buddies and say, let's go. I don't think I would have gone out on my own. So we have to understand the lockdown, what it has done to some of us. I know there was a psychological thing with me. So we have to understand what it can do to our psyche. So, and like Nicole said, she wouldn't even go to Super Farm to shop. Yeah. So I know it was something with me that I had a little fear of going back out and walk, and I'm so glad to get the support. You see why you need a tribe? Without that tribe, I would not have started back walking and enjoy the beautiful sights out of the tracking station and Lady Chancellor. I will still be here sitting down in my room. Yeah, so you do need a tribe at times when you feel you can't do it, when you call your tribe. And the thing is, when we're walking and somebody's behind, there's somebody pulling you up, meaning, you know, verbally pumping you up to keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. Right. I love that approach, Darim. Do your research so that you wouldn't be afraid. Yeah, it's a little mindset. So we have to look at our mindset in this context of COVID. Yeah. So let's go quickly and talk about our 3 secrets. So these are 3 foundational steps. Now I say secrets in this big way. No big secrets, but the power is when they are put together, then it becomes a secret and then it becomes powerful. Because I'm sure if I tell you about values and goals, I mean, you know about values, you know about goals, but did we ever think about making our goal a value-based goal? Most of us don't. Most of us would not have thought about making our goal a value-based goal. When our goal is based on our values, then we have almost a spiritual investment in that goal. It means so much to us. And that's the difference of having a strong goal that is connected to who you are, that is connected to your values. Do you know your values? Do you know your core values? Have you paused and done your core values? If you have, then this would be simple for you. What are your values? If you do you have your notepad and your pen with you? So pull that out, and I want to do a quick exercise with you. So here I have some examples of values. And if you can, I want you to select, well, this is not a full exercise, so this is a shortened version of the exercise. Now you could add to these values if you wish, but if you could write down your top 5 values, what you feel are your 5 values, these are not exhaustive, so you can add to them. If you could write on your notepad 5 values that you feel are your core values, and from those values, I want you to pick just 2 values that you feel are your top 2 values. So just take a few minutes now. If you know your values, if you're in tune with your values, you know, you will run with it. So I'm just going to give you a few minutes on your notepad, and then we'll move on. So 5 values from here. You can add to it if you want, because this is not exhaustive, an exhaustive list. So write down 5 values and take the time to write down. I mean, we're not here watching it through your camera to see if you're doing it, but take the time, because I always say we don't pause and take time for ourselves. So I am so happy that you're here, truly happy, so that you can take the time for yourself. So 5, and then bring it down to 2. So when you do your values, now you could check and see if where you are, the situation that you're in now, whether it's at work, whether it's personal, is that aligned with your values? The goals that you're setting for yourself, is that aligned with your values, or is it just frivolous, you know, for sure, as they would say? You know, when we're in a place that is not aligned with our values, and I'm sure you would have experienced it, whether it's a place or a person, a situation, when it's not aligned with our values, we get a pulling and a tugging internally. I remember somebody saying that it's only now, after probably, I don't know, a lot of years, 6, 8, 10 years, that they realized why there was a struggle at their workplace with themselves internally, because the work was not aligned with your values. I myself was in a situation at work where what was happening was not aligned with my values, and I struggled and I spoke out, and actually that's what led me here speaking to you now, because in the end, um, I was let go. I was terminated. And for me, that was a blessing undisguised, because then I was divinely directed to take this path that led me right here speaking to you. So if things are not aligned with our values, we will always have that internal struggle. And for me, I have one simple goal in life, and that's to sleep at night. And sleeping at night means there must be nothing swimming in my head. I should not have treated anybody unfairly. I'm wrong. If I do so, I will apologize. It just can't happen for me. So let's look at the next secret. Let's do a life audit. How many of us look at the different areas in our lives and see whether, what area do you want to focus on this year? Or is it all areas you're going to devote your time to? I usually tell people, pick an area or two, because it's one you and you have other things to do and other life. So we sometimes feel like this in our lives. We feel like if we are the hamster on the wheel, think about it, because you get up early in the morning, and even if for those who have to head to the office, you get up and you do what you have to do. You head to the office, you work, you jump in your car, you get back home. Even if you're not heading to the office because you're working from home, you still have a routine. You might have somebody at home, you might have a child or two at home doing homeschooling. Woe be unto those who still working and you have a child homeschooling and you have to supervise. So all of that is part of your day. You have to take care of the household. You have to cook. It's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. And inside of there, we just do the same thing over the next day and the same thing over and over. And before we know it, years have passed, and things are the same because we do the same thing day in and day out. How could we jump off that hamster wheel and really make some efforts and progress in our lives? So the Wheel of Life is a good, simple tool that you can use. And you don't have to have these headings here. You could choose whatever heading you want, and you rate your, actually what we'll do after, we will send you a copy of the Wheel of Life so that you can work on it on your own. And now I will want you to choose an area in your life. Choose an area in your life and just rate it on your notepad or your sheet of paper that you have here. It can be an area here, or it can be an area you want to put in. And this is just an example. So on your notepad, and work with me here, on your notepad, choose an area. If it's your career, if it's your business, if it's your health, if it's your relationship with God, choose an area and rate it on a scale of 1 to 10. Matter of fact, choose 2 areas, because as you have 2 areas before you, I will, in your mind, I want you to look at it and see if you had to choose one area to focus on this year, which one would it be? So choose 2 areas for yourself, 2 areas in your life. Two areas in your life, and on a scale of 1 to 10, what is your level of satisfaction? Of course, 0 means you're not satisfied, and 10 means yippee yahoo, right? So choose 2 areas rated on a scale of 1 to 10. And if you had to choose between those 2 areas, which one would you choose to work on this year? Which one would you give your energy and your effort to? So we're moving on. So these are foundational steps that you must do. And I call them secrets because they're right there, but nobody sees them. But put them together, like I said, and they become very powerful. The other one is crafting your vision. Where do you want to go? What does your vision looks like? And when we talk, there's a vision exercise we do where we close our eyes and we imagine ourselves, that we're watching ourselves in the screen and stepping in the screen, and we're really actioning where we want to go. There's this wonderful TED talk that we had listened to again in the mastermind. And all these things are coming back because we just concluded our mastermind. And, you know, the woman said she looked down and in her mind, she saw a car park filled with cars for her business. And many years later, she found a spot where she saw that car park as she looked down. And then years later, that car park was filled with cars coming to her business. So it was a very powerful TED talk. It's about visualization. I could probably look for the link and share it with you. But we must craft our vision. What does it look like? What does it smell like? What does it feel like? What are we wearing when we're in that vision? So we must craft a vision to pull us along. What's the end game? What's the mission? What's the vision? So visioning is very important in terms of achieving our goals and creating a life for ourselves. So all these, the 3 steps that I shared with you is really part of the self-discovery pillar of self-leadership. And that vision allows you to craft what success means like to you. And, you know, we have to be careful, vigilant and alert that we do not allow society and social media to define what success is for us. Oh, we'll be in such a poor state, a terrible state when we depend on social media to define success for us. Success could be anything you want it to be. It may be you want a big house, you want a private jet, fine. But for somebody else, it may be having a happy family life. For somebody else, it may be having a relationship, a deep relationship with God, and they have a simple life. You know, what does success look like for you? We must be able to define that and describe it as vividly as we can so that we can work towards it. And, you know, looking on social media and looking on what's on the internet and television and try to compare our lives with what is there, that's make-believe. But in real life, we get to define what success looks like to us. We get to define our values. We get to visualize what it looks like. We get to ensure that we dig deep in our deep why, our 5th why, so we know that we're connected to where we want to go. So those what I call foundational, we do all of that. You do all of that before you start to actually write out your goal. So you do the self-discovery first, and then after this self-discovery, then you can move forward. Now, sometimes we do all of this and we fall out the bandwagon. In fact, we didn't even get on. We want in heaven's name, where in heaven's name our sheet of paper is with our goals. We put it on the wall, it fly away. We just don't know what happened. So sometimes it is puzzling for us that we have all these goals and we know what we need to do. But sometimes, as I say, we sit down on the couch and we binge watch. And we know that research tells us about the New Year's resolutions, how they fail. So this is a fact. It's a fact that people make their goals and just did not, achieve their goals. So I want to ask, how many of us make New Year's resolution? And it's not a judgmental question. We are all here free from judgment and to support each other to grow. How many of us make New Year's resolution? Yeah, just let me know in the chat. Me. I don't, for no particular reason. I just don't. I make goals, but not New Year's resolution. Yeah. I like that, Cheryl. Birthday resolutions. Kelly started from last year. Nicole don't. Yeah. I don't either. Anybody else? Anybody else make or don't make New Year's resolution? Let me hear some more. Yeah. I like the idea of birthday resolution, Okay, Janelle, you stopped doing it since 2018. Ramadan resolution. That's a very good idea. Love that one. Yeah, Dawn doesn't do it. So I don't do it either. I feel if you want to make a goal, you just make a goal whenever. However, I've realized there's something magical about, January. Could be because it's my birthday month. But there's something magical where everybody is feeling fresh and it seems like you want, there's so much to achieve. But I don't make New Year's resolutions per se, but surely I will make some goals. But sometimes we make our goals and we set up hot and sweaty and then we fall off the bandwagon. And I will confess it because that's me, all right? But I have found that if you make your goals a particular way and if you keep your goals in front of you, then it makes a difference. If you have a strategy for achieving your goal, it makes a difference. It makes a big difference. Now, why we don't continue is this gentleman, who this is named after, that needed to write a book and didn't get to write in the book and decided he would procrastinated. And I think he kept on one set of clothes and was wearing one set of clothes until he wrote the book. And eventually, months after, he wrote the Hunchback of Notre Dame. And it is named after him as procrastination. And the question is, why do we procrastinate? This, the research tells us it's because the delaying gratification, it's hard to envision the goal down the line and delay our gratification in terms of time, whatever, energy, resources. So sometimes we procrastinate, but we can move against those procrastination spirits and procrastination mentality if we really focus on implementation and find a way to implement what we want to do. Now, what we looked at here was really to find out what your values are. And your values are going to give you clarity of where you need to go. Your values are going to give you clarity of the type of work you need to do that will give you satisfaction. What goal is going to give you satisfaction? Because once it is aligned with your values, you will feel fulfilled. Once you're doing work, what I call work that sets your soul on fire, you will feel fulfilled. And sometimes it's not necessarily a job, not every time, but I'm very practical. Not every time you can find a job that will give you that satisfaction. We got mortgage to pay and children and rent. And however, you can do something outside your job that will give you that satisfaction and that sense of fulfillment. What happened? We feel our lives should revolve around our jobs. No, 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 no. If your job gives you that fulfillment, fine. If it doesn't, then you find something that will give you fulfillment. And that's what clarity does. It opens up opportunities for you to see the opportunities. The life audit allows you to it gives you a benchmark. It allows you to take stock of where you are and to decide where you want to focus your time, where you want to focus your energy. Now you craft your vision for yourself. Now, these are just some sneak peeks and some ideas from that first pillar of self-discovery that I felt would be useful as you are in the beginning of the year to see where you want to go for this 2021. As I said, 2020 was a dry run. It was a practice session. Not a year that many of us wanted to stay in. We were so looking forward to 2021. But the idea of 2021 being a fresh year is a bit strange for us. Now, it's a fresh year because we can walk into 2021 with a different mindset. And this does not mean that we're burying our head in the sand, not at all. I mean, I am one person that could tell you cannot bury a head in the sand. I have had, I have been intimately involved in COVID, let's say. I have had family members with COVID, and I tell people life continues, COVID or no COVID. I mean, I have family members with cancer who had COVID, recovered from COVID, of course, still have cancer. And all those experiences have taught me that life continues in the midst of COVID. And that's what I want to share with you. Life continues in the midst of COVID. And the whole story, how we really arrived here at this program this afternoon, this evening, it's really, again, because as COVID started in April, my question was, what to do? My question was what to do. How could I help? How could I run and help? I'm no nurse, I'm no doctor. How could I help? So the only thing I knew to do was to do training like this. So we started with a series of programs. We looked at mindset. We had people come in and speak. Actually, Andrea came in and speak. Actually, Andrea, I think you came and spoke about leadership. Yes? Yes, I think Andrea came and spoke about leadership. We had personal branding, we had goal setting, and that effort was really, it was really about shifting people's mind so that you don't have to focus on all the doom and gloom and to pull people out of a dark space. And from there, we had a small Facebook group, we had a WhatsApp group that's still going, still alive, struggling along, but still alive. And from there, people started to chat and reach out and wanted something sort of support, and then the mastermind was formed out of that. So we can actually say that we formed the mastermind out of COVID and that we have grown out of COVID. And from that mastermind, we have been able to design a framework that could take us from pre-COVID mindset through COVID to a potential post-COVID mindset, and a framework where we can work on ourselves, our values, our fifth why, our vision, I define our strengths and our areas to develop using a SWOT analysis, developing a plan. So there's so much that we have been able to do, and in a powerful way. And I think for a lot of us, it's one of the most important things, and the outcome from that relationship that we had formed is really our tribe. I think that is the most valuable thing now, even as we wrap up. And, it has been a very challenging year, but has also been a very rewarding year. So my question to you is, are you going to use this year for you to shine? There's so many webinars. I'm glad you're here because this means you're investing time in yourself. So I'm so glad that you're here this evening. So, continue looking for ways that you can invest in yourself, continue looking for ways where you can pull yourself along to where you want to go. And what we have been able to do is develop a framework to take us from point A to point B, because that's actually what happened. And, that was the first time we had that mastermind, that I hosted that mastermind. And it has allowed us to fine tune based on feedback and really, really have a program, a powerful program that gives results. The good thing is the tribe, but we were also there for results. And I always reminded everyone, we're here for results. The tribe is good. The inspiration is fantastic, but we also want to make sure that we have results. So this is our mastery of me. That's what we came, what I came up with after. And it's really a step-by-step program that allows you to achieve your goal and to set what I call setting your soul on fire. If things are aligned with your values and your fifth why, and you envision it and you have your goal defined in a smarter way, so you can evaluate and redesign rather than just a simple SMART goal, then you could really see how you could make progress. So this has been a fantastic experience for me, and I know for those who have been here. So I just want to encourage you as I wrap up this part, because I want to ask my colleagues to come on board, and we're going to have a little, let's see if I can put on. So I just want to encourage you to do something today for yourself. Do something today for yourself. And the fact that you're here means that, yes, you are doing something for yourself. You're going to be anywhere. I mean, not that we have anywhere in Trinidad that we could go online these days, but surely the time is yours to make the decision. But the fact that you made the decision to be here is a very powerful thing. So I want you to continue to look for ways where you can raise yourself to the next level, to continue to look for ways where you can develop yourself. Because at the end of COVID, as I said, life continues in the midst of COVID and even after COVID, whenever that will be, that we don't know. So I want to pause here, and we do have a gift for you. And I'm going to hold that thought for a moment. I am going to hold that thought for a moment. I'm going to hold that thought for a moment and just ask before I just saw a little note there. I have to say, okay, Nicole, before I quickly bring on Andrea and Dawn and Alicia, what stood out for you in the little bit that I shared? Just quickly, because I'm going to bring them on now, because I want to kind of fast track. Anything stood out for you? Just hit me up in the chat. Anything stood out for you? Self-care, yeah. Value-based goals, yes. Yeah. Setting a vision for yourself and taking care of yourself, crafting your vision, life audit, fantastic. So it's good to know that, something stood out for us. And I hope you're making notes, self-awareness. Yeah. We can't do anything without self-awareness. So I'm going to ask Dawn and Andrea and Alicia to unmute themselves. So, these are my friends. Yeah. I asked Alicia and Dawn to join me. They were part of the mastermind. And then Andrea, a friend of mine who puts herself first. And I really wanted her to share that because so many times, like I said, we get wrapped up in work and we leave ourselves for last. We spend so much time on everything else and not ourselves. So it's just a conversation we're going to have, very informal conversation. While you're here, if you have any questions, please feel free. It's a few of us. Please feel free to unmute your mic and just ask your question because it's not many of us. Okay. Alrighty. So, like I said, I had asked Alicia and Dawn and Andrea just to come and share briefly how in 2020, how they would have put themselves first. How would you have given yourself priority? And I know for Alicia, because Alicia came on pretty early this evening. I know Alicia, our last session with Alicia, Alicia said something to the effect that, she could go and testify. That was kind of it, right? I said, all right, you can go and testify. I'll see you on Friday at 7. All right. So Alicia, the floor is yours. What did you do differently in 2020?
Right. Thanks again, Charlene, for allowing me and inviting me here this afternoon to share with everyone that's here, and a pleasant good evening to all of you that is on this platform. 2020, as you know, started off pretty normal, and then we got March lockdown and COVID came and so forth. But somehow during that period, I kept hearing in my spirit, don't panic, don't panic, don't just focus on the negatives, or don't get so caught up with COVID that you lose sight of, all of the other pertinent things or even miss opportunities. And long story short, because even as I was dabbling with that kind of thought process, I was also at a place, I like to call it a crossroad, where most people may be able to identify, you're feeling a lot of self-doubt, a lot of fear in terms of making certain decisions or taking certain steps. And Charlene alluded to a lot of those things in her presentation earlier on. And when I decided to pursue this particular program, the Mastermind program, I knew it had to do something with reinventing the way I think. But what I got versus what I thought I was going to get, it was really, really different in terms of how phenomenal this program and how it impacted me in terms of changing my mindset, which is most important to begin with. And we said it here in terms of that self-awareness. And we did so many exercises, but the ones that stood out to me was that one where we had to look ourselves in the mirror. And I mean, I don't want to be too long because I want to share with my sisters and friends on the panel. When we had to do that exercise, we look in the mirror every morning to put on the makeup, to look at how we fit into the outfit, but we never stop to look into the mirror to see what are we seeing about ourselves? And then a lot of times we meant to not even see ourselves in a certain light. We wait for other people to confirm our skills and, to give us some sort of acceptance, but we never stop and look in the mirror to see who we are. And I remember struggling with that exercise when Charlene asked us to list certain things, and I didn't understand, why did I struggle? And it was from there, that whole concept of self-awareness, your development, your goals, aligning your goals, your values. I am one of those who at one point was also struggling in terms of the environment that I was in and my values, and I didn't understand it, but I understood later on, having done this course, this program, I don't want to call it a course, this program, how important your values, understanding your values are and tying those into your goals. I mean, Charlene just said it. I could testify, but I'm not going to be selfish. I'm going to pause here because there's a lot more I can say in terms of this program, but I don't want to how should I say, preempt any body's experience or what they may be exposed to. But what I can tell you, it has really changed my trajectory in terms of how I'm approaching my life. One of the things I also walked away with is that I am the CEO of my life. You are the CEO of your life. So if it is, we are here and we are saying that 2021 is the year of me, that is not being selfish. That's not being selfish, right? So you take charge of your life, each one of us be the CEO of our life, and let's work on that mind that is so important, and all of the different pillars that Charlene shared with us today to take us on that journey. Whatever your goals or your objectives are, those pillars are very important because it sure has impacted me. So Charlene?
Thanks so much, Alicia. Let me just say what Alicia told her, I'll make her the poster girl, because Alicia had some personal matters to deal with a few times.
Yeah.
And Alicia will still show up on a Saturday. This is like 3 times, I think Alicia 3 or 4 times, and Alicia will still show up. Now that's what you talk about, making a commitment to yourself. So whatever happened, you deal with that, yes, but you still showed up. Yeah, so that I really commend you too. I mean, really hats off to you, Alicia. Yeah.
Thank you, Charlene.
And I'm just going to ask Andrea now to share with us, how I happened to ask Andrea on, I think I posted something on IG and about taking care of putting yourself first priority. And Andrea made a little note, is yes, now I'm doing this. So I said, all right, if we're talking about taking yourself, putting yourself first and making yourself first priority, then let's hear from somebody who is a busy professional, I would say, a woman in a man's world because of the industry you're in. You would expect a man to be sitting in your chair and, making her way and her space. So Andrea, if you could share with us, please, how have you, what are some, what and why, or why and what? The why first, as I say, start with the why. Why you decided to make yourself priority, and how do you do it? What's your strategy given your busy schedule?
Okay, well, Charlene, first of all, thank you very much for inviting me here, because for me it's always a pleasure to share information, right? And I think if whatever I can share can impact even one person, then I would have done something good. So while you were speaking, I made some little notes because similar to Alicia, I can speak for the rest of the night. Right? So I had to make some notes so that I stay focused. For me, and I think Alicia mentioned it, I have always seen myself as the CEO of my life, right? Oftentimes people say that it's selfish because I would always ask the question, who is the most important person in your life? And yes, you may have families, husband and kids and all of that, but then who is the most important person in your life? And when you look back, that person has to be you, right? Because if you are not able to give everything, if you're not able to give in the fullness and the abundance of your heart and love and all of that, then you will be robbing your family, you'll be robbing your kids, you'll be robbing your husband, you'll be robbing your friends. So for me, I just looked at myself as the most important person in my life. And yes, my responsibilities are large, right? But one of the things that I have done is set myself as the CEO. So for example, if I have a meeting with my CEO based in Miami, I am going to, and that meeting is set for 8 a.m. I am going to get up and I'm going to be there and, be ready for that meeting. So for me, I look at the other areas of my life that I want to work on, my goals, my personal goals. And I would set meetings to accomplish my personal goals. So for example, if I know that 6 a.m. every morning, I have to get up and work out, then that's a meeting with myself. And if I am the most important person, then I can't set up myself. I cannot make that meeting, right? So then I become the priority. And that's how I take care of myself. So I commit to whatever I have to do for myself. And you also mentioned success. And oftentimes we define our success based on someone else's idea of success or failure. Actually, I always tell people my success is not material things. My ultimate success is harmony. That's me. So when you put up the list of values, and I would have done these things before because I always interrogate myself. I always go through the, self-introspection, and I always, that mirror, I have a mirror on my desk. I don't move. I have mirrors all over my house, right? I love mirrors. It speaks to me. It's me looking at myself. It's me talking to myself in that mirror saying, all right, where you are right now, where you want to be. Are you happy with who you're looking at? And I do that. It sounds crazy to some, but I do that. I speak to me in the mirror because that's the time you can really be truthful about yourself, right? And, when I look at success for me, I build my goals and my life around it. So I aim for harmony. I want balance. My staff ask me how you do all the things you do. Running a multinational company, I do mountain biking. I run and I work out every day. Fitness is very important for me. My health, my family is very important to me. So I make time for that. I make time for friends and everybody else in my life. And my spiritual life is also very important. So I find time to meditate. And so how do you find the time to do it? It comes right back down to your inner management. How do you manage yourself from inside out, right? Because if you don't find time to do it, it would never happen, right? In terms of goals, what I would say and what works to me is to do one thing every day to take you one step closer to your goal. One habit, just one habit. There's no need to rush. And Charlene did say that you're in your own lane. Don't compare yourself with somebody else that you believe is moving faster. Their path is different to yours. Right? Their path is different to yours. Stay in your lane, but ensure that you form the right habits. Do one habit each day to take you closer to each of your goals. And the other thing is, and Charlie know this, tomorrow, well in the morning, bright and early, I'm off to Tobago. Unfortunately, that's as far as I can travel, right? I'm off to Tobago for 2 days. And these 2 days is just going to be me, and God, right? That's it. That's it. I'm going to spend 2 days alone. Phone is going to be put away. Everything is going to be put aside, right? And Saturday morning, I'll just share how my weekend is going to go. Saturday morning, for the first half of Saturday morning, is going to be Thanksgiving. It's going to be me talking to God, me sharing, me giving him thanks, me, expressing my gratitude. Saturday evening, right, into the night is going to be my period of reflection, right? Reconnect with where I came from, what I'm doing, and all of that. And I have 7 areas, similar to the wheel of life, but the 7 areas that I focus on, I'll tell you, is my spiritual, right? Personal development, relationships. I have family time, and free time. That's one. So free time, yes, I have free time as one of my key areas that I focus on. I also have career.
I love that.
Yeah, it's important, right? I have career and business, and I have financial, and then I have health. 7 areas. Tomorrow afternoon, I'm going to sit with these 7 areas and I will do my audits. And my audit goes like, where am I now, right? Where do I want to be in each of these areas? And then how do I get there? And Sunday is where I'm going to take all my goals, the big ideas that I have in my head, and I'm going to really sit down and flesh it out. This is what I need to do, as realistic as I possibly can, right? So I'm going to spend Sunday doing that. And the doing this at the beginning of each year, I try to get it done in January. It really sets the tone for the rest of your year. And as Charlene said, it aligns you with your values because you're doing these things based on your principles, based on the things that matter most to you, right? And for example, I made some notes here, as I said, so I could stay on track and not go through whole night, right? So I made some notes here, and these are some of the things that I ask myself all the time, and it helps you to reprogram, helps me to reprogram myself. What are my fears? What are my distractions? Make a list of them. Then I look at, okay, what can I do to overcome my fears? What can I do, right, to get over these distractions? How could I, improve? And I'll tell you, procrastination was one of them for me. That has been one of my biggest distractions for years, right? And I have tried a number of different things. For example, I'm not a morning person, right? But I was determined to become a morning person.
And I'm going to say, I thought I see you walking up.
Of course,
Of
now I do.
station, so now you are a morning person.
Yes, I set that as a goal in 2000 and at the beginning of 2018 to become a morning person because I knew that I wanted to get that extra time in my day. I wanted to start my day on a very powerful note. So I said that, and what I will do, my morning routine, I get up at 4:55. I spend half an hour in prayer, worship, spend that time, meditate, and then I work out. So I head outside, head outdoors, run, whatever I choose to do. And then I come back in and I sit with my planner and I, check what is happening in my day. So my day is planned from before 8 o'clock, before I even go to the office, right? And that gave me so much more time in my day, right, to do so many other things, right? So I made myself become a morning person because that's what I needed to take me to where I want to be, right? So, I mean, you have to find a way to get past your distractions. And to do that, Charlene, I will take out all my workout clothes in the night. I'll set it close by so I know what I'm working out in.
Yeah.
When I roll off that bed, right, I am not even going to sit down for 2 more minutes. I'm going to do the countdown, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, get out, right? Because if I stay and I say, oh gosh, let me just relax a few minutes more, that'll probably be it.
Yeah.
Right? So
I
have
like
that.
I like that, Andrea, because if I have to walk in the following morning, I do the same thing. The time I have to, and then you waste so much time looking for things in the morning. Digging in the basket when you throw for things in the dark or by torchlight, So I usually take out everything, your top, your pants, every single thing. Shoes, outside, sneakers, socks, every single thing.
That's right.
Every single thing.
That's
so
right.
It's just jumping. And one thing I don't do is hit snooze. When the alarm, some people hit snooze, snooze, snooze. When that alarm rings, I'm up.
Yeah.
I'm up when it rings. Yeah.
Yeah. And what happened? So someday last week, I set my alarm and it did not go off at 4:55. But at 5 o'clock, for some reason, my body, it couldn't lay down anymore. And I got up. I made an error and I set the alarm for 4:55 p.m. instead of a.m. But because I've been doing it and doing it consistently, my body is now in that mode. Okay, it's time. My internal clock is working now. It's time to get up. Even without the alarm, I'm up and I'm ready to go, right? And the other thing is that I would ask is that you ask yourself the question: what brings you the most joy? Right? What brings you the most joy? And brings the greatest sense of peace in your life. And that is where your focus should be. That is where your focus should be, right? So it's not necessarily the company that you're working for, because God forbid, today or tomorrow that company shut down. We've seen it with COVID. We've seen
Yeah.
so many people lose their jobs, right? And go into states of depression and frustration and all of that, right? So think about it. What brings you the greatest peace, and set goals around that. And the other thing is celebrate yourself.
Mommy, just 1 second. Yeah. Go ahead, Andrea.
Yeah, you have to celebrate yourself. And I do that, and I do it well. My celebrations are usually almost the same, always the same. I can't travel, right? That's one of the things I love to do. I can't travel. So my next favorite thing is spas and massages and, you know, anything, any kind of pampering. That's me. So I would always set like my goals. If I accomplish something at the end of the week, right, I will find some way to celebrate. So I'll usually put it in. If I have a goal for the week, I'll set my goal, and then at the bottom of my goal, I'll set the reward. So I reward myself and I celebrate myself. It's very important because, again, coming back to you, you are the most important person in your life.
Yeah.
You take care of you first, right? And then, of course, you would have the energy, you would have the time, you would have the attitude, you would have that, you know, bubbly, happy, that would roll over into your family and your friends and that sort of thing. So basically that's it for me. Yeah, basically that's it for me. That life audit is very important. And I had one more question, just so, well, you know, something to add. We speak about leveling up. That's the term now. Everybody's leveling up. Think about what are you leveling up to? Right? So just add that. When you think about leveling up, what are you leveling up to? Because that is very important, right? And use the mirror. Use the mirror.
The mirror, the mirror, the mirror. We're bringing back the mirror. Where's the mirror? We're bringing back the mirror, the mirror, the mirror, the mirror.
Yeah, use the mirror. The mirror is not just to look at your clothes. The mirror is to be true to yourself. That's the only time you can actually stand face to face with you. Yeah. So use the mirror.
Powerful, powerful, powerful.
Yes.
Yeah. Go back to that mirror exercise that we had that Alicia spoke about in the mastermind.
Yeah.
Very, very powerful. Thanks so much, Andrea.
Definitely.
So many nuggets, and I know your nuggets are nuggets from your life, as you say. This is what you do.
Yeah.
This is really why I asked Andrea, because Andrea is super busy and yet still always posting a picture with herself on tracking station and the bicycle, and you know, really say, so how does she do it? And as you say, it's really about understanding what we want in life. I love the idea of booking a meeting with yourself.
Yeah.
So that's my big takeaway. In that calendar, you book a meeting with yourself, people. Yeah.
Correct.
And understanding that we also should do things, I always say, just as Andrew said, that brings us joy.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have to be grand. It doesn't have, for me, it's my plants. You see behind me? You see behind me?
Yes.
For me, it's my plants and running out in the garden sometimes, even before I start work, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was cleaning up the garden some months ago, and every single day for about 2 weeks, would be in the garden first thing in the morning as clockwork. So understand what feeds you, what sets your soul on fire, and what brings you joy to make your life a more fulfilling life. But the only way you can do that, the only way you can know what brings you joy is if you practice self-awareness.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
So I'm going to ask Dawn, who's taken in everything and probably want to hop in and put in her piece. So I'll ask Dawn to share with us, you know, for last year, what did you do differently to achieve your goals? Because I know you achieved some significant goals last year. And Dawn was also part of our mastermind.
Good evening, everybody. Charlene, thank you for, you know, allowing me the opportunity. And ladies, before, wow, you all took up most of what I have to say, but that's all right.
But coming from you, it's different, Dawn.
But with Charlene, like I was going to say, with Charlene, everything is new and different and a whole different perspective. And you know, one of the key phrases that I took from you, when you plan what it is, the
whole universe conspires to make it happen.
But exactly.
Paulo Coelho,
Exactly. And that is true, true, true. So once you plan it
Make a decision.
happens.
Yeah.
Exactly. You make the decision. And as you said, in terms of some of the examples you gave, you suddenly saw the opportunities. And that is exactly what happens. You are now focused. So the opportunity may have been there before, but you didn't see it because you're looking at it differently. So as Alicia said, it's really it's a mind shift. You have to shift that mind. If you think you can, you can. And if you think you can't, you can't. So therefore, you can as well. I mean, it's the same thing. So once you shift your mind, it will happen, and it happens in such an easy way. I'm not saying that life is easier. It's just that, everything just flows. The other thing that was important to me, we touched on it a little bit, the why that makes you cry. So what motivates you to do what you do? And that, the exercise in the mirror, which brought out the why that makes you cry. When you all join the program, people, the why that makes you cry, that
That actually makes you cry.
actually makes you cry. Literally, that's when you get to that stage, that really unlocks. It's like a key. It just opens everything up, and it allows you to move from step to step to step. And even when you don't achieve, because that's part of the process, things happen. You understand that it is part of the process, and you do a reset and you say, okay, fine. So I'm either going to approach it a different way, or I'm going to try again, or okay, let me get back on. It really helps you in terms of the whole transition and the self-development, because self-development isn't today I get up and tomorrow I'm perfect. That does not happen. It is today I get up and tomorrow, oh, nothing happens the way I want it to happen. And it is the ability to really and truly start again and make strives to achieve that. That is what it is. It is all about that. And most importantly, enjoying it along the way. Because if you don't, the celebrations, the taking care of you, etc. If you don't, there's no meaning. What are you doing this for? Why are you doing it? What is the purpose? So all of that ties in so nicely to everything. But the support, the tribe, that helps you when you fall off the bandwagon, when you think, oh God, you had a bad day, but somebody had a worse week than you. So it grounds you in terms of that's life. Okay, so it happens. Who else is beating up on you? Only you. So let's do it again. All of those things are part of the whole process. And I really have to say, I mean, Alicia said it first. We're hoping for the part two, because we don't want it to stop. It really has been an exciting journey. 2020, I started prior to the mastermind, and I started because of COVID. COVID was very depressing, I have to admit. And it wasn't depressing in the sense, in terms of the deaths and all of those things. I was very panicky, and I literally could not leave the house, literally. And all the news, everything you looked at was COVID, 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 COVID. Um, Instagram, Facebook, television, the movies and all were all about, all these different things happening. It was just very morbid. And I just couldn't come out of that place. And it was very, and Charlene said, okay, let's turn off everything and let's start focusing on other things. And that, after that, I have to say my 2020 was probably one of my best years. So I am very happy that I did it. And for those of you all who are thinking about it, it is really a good investment in yourself. You have to make you the priority. And if you can't do that, nobody else will. Who else do you want to make the priority? You. Somebody else has to be the priority. You have to make yourself propriety. It's like in an aircraft. What do they tell you? You have to put your mask on first before you help somebody else. Yes, that is true, and that is life. So before I go on whole night, Charlene, that's my 2 cents.
You know,
Put on your mask first before
put on your mask
you
first,
help
because
others.
you have to
Yes.
take care of yourself first. And
Mhm.
like I said, we're so busy, and there's so many nuggets that each one of you, Alicia, Dawn, and Andrew, shared. And I want to thank you so much for sharing, and those who stayed on the call, because it's not often we get people to share of themselves where we can be inspired. Because I mean, it's true stories. I mean, I saying stories in quotes. It's not something you're reading on the internet or seen on television. This is people, Alicia, Dawn, Andre, their lives that they shared with you. So thank you so much. And Dawn, as you talk about the COVID, I'm sure most of us have been there in that dark mindset. And I always pray. I always pray for guidance. Even when I design my programs, Dawn, that look in the mirror thing came the night before. I always pray for guidance, because somehow, as somebody said, I was divinely directed. So even the program itself was because people kept reaching out. It's the strangest thing, I tell you, as though it was something I needed to do. So even the first wave of the series we had in April, the free series, that too, people were so grateful that they had a place that was positive and they could shift their mindset. Again, those are the things that keep feeding me and always validates that what I'm doing, I'm on the right track. Yeah, that I am being guided. So even in mastermind wasn't something that I came up with. It was because these ladies and others contacted me. I said, okay, so let's do a mastermind. Created a program, and that's actually how it came around. Yeah, came around. So I want to thank you so much for sharing, because even as we're in 2021, there's so many, and I don't want to use the word distractions per se, because I don't want to trivialize COVID. Yet still in the midst, as I say, in the midst of COVID, we have to continue.
Yeah.
We have to continue in the midst of COVID. We can't wait. So the self-care, the going to the spa, getting your feet done, whether it's your hair done, or sometimes it's just finding a nice quiet place to relax with a good book. You like a good book and a nice tub, not a cup, but a nice tub of ice cream. Or if you like your tea or your coffee, it's just those little things that could, support you in taking care of yourself. It is so, so, so important. So again, I want to thank you. So we had promised you that if you hang around, and before I give my, so we have 2 nice gifts for you for hanging around. One, because I was really, it's my birthday month, so somehow I'm feeling extra generous. So we have 2 gifts. So one was a seat in one of the master class starting next Saturday. And one was a coaching session, a discovery coaching session. So I don't know, Najrin, were we able to organize the online draw, or we pull in a hat? Not sure if that's.
Hi, Charlene.
If you won't, we could pull a hat, because it's just a few of us.
Hi, Charlene. You hearing me?
Yes, I am.
Oh, yes. Yeah. I have a wheel set up coincidentally, just like the wheel of life you spoke about. We have a spin the wheel with everybody's name on it.
Oh, really? Do we
Yes.
get to see it or something?
Yes.
How does it work?
I just have to share my screen.
Yeah, okay, folks. So this is fun. Let me just see. I'm going to make you co-host. So there you go. Thanks so much. So we need to unmute you just now. You need to unmute. I'm trying to unmute here. Right. Gosh, I need some water. Well, that's
Good.
nice. Nice.
Can everyone hear me?
Yep.
Right. So we'll just, so everybody's name there who registered. So we'll just
Let
spin
me,
the wheel
okay.
now.
This is nice. Oh, 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 oh.
Griffith.
Cheryl, is that you? Is that Cheryl Griffith?
Yeah.
Oh,
Cheryl Griffith.
congratulations. I love that. That is fantastic. Oh, I love that, Nazreen. You have met top of the world tonight. Oh, I love that. Fantastic.
Thank you.
Cheryl,
Thank you. Thank you.
congratulations. Wow. Congratulations, Cheryl. See, it's
I
good that
am
you
looking
stuck
forward.
around.
I am all excited
Fantastic.
already.
Okay, fantastic. We'll happily welcome you. Fantastic. Congrats. All right, so we're going again.
So we're spinning again for the coaching session now. So I'm resetting the wheel. So we know for sure it's not rigged. So I've reset it there and then we're gonna spin again.
Nazreen, I love this. Oh, Janelle. Oh, wow. Janelle, are you here? I know you're here.
Yes, I am. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay, so this is the coaching session, right? Congratulations, Janelle.
Thank you so much.
Oh, you're most welcome. Oh gosh, Nazreen, I love that. That's fantastic. Oh my gosh. So we promised you 2 prizes. Dion, are you here? I'm not seeing everyone on the screen actually. Dion, you want to just drop the link in the chat for me, please? Charlene Pedro. So I am.
Hello,
so
are you hearing me?
Yes, could you?
Yes, sure.
Thanks much. So, you know, ladies and gents, I am so excited. I'm excited for the draw. And I'm excited that Cheryl and Janelle has won their prizes, have won their prizes. So even if you did not win your prize, on my website, you periodically you can get free stuff. You may have recordings of training that you can access. So you can sign up for any freebies we'll have in the future. And of course, once you sign up for a session and we have a freebie session like this, you will automatically get information so that you can hop on again. So I just want to get from you your feedback. You're getting big congratulations. So we just dropped the link. Dion, thanks so much. So Dion just dropped the link for charlenepedro.com. Again, this whole charlenepedro.com, the way it is now, really came about with the mastermind. So even in COVID, I myself have grown, has grown so that I could better support my soul sisters, my tribers. So I want to congratulate the winners. I am so excited because of how Nazreen did that draw. So congratulate you, Cheryl. I welcome you to our masterclass. Our masterclass is next Saturday. So I welcome you to the masterclass. Janelle, I welcome you to that coaching session. We will arrange. Please, as I say, sign up at charlenepedro.com so that you will receive when we have these freebies, and you see we give away good stuff when you hang on, when you stick around. So let me just hear from you. If you could just drop in the chat what you thought about the evening. Was it worth your while? Just give me a short phrase or one word. As I tell people, let me get some love, as I say, some sugar. So what do you think of the evening? Was it worth your while? Somebody says lots to digest and action to take. Yes, I know. I know. It was really a packed evening, I wanted to make sure that I give you value for choosing to spend your time with us. So we are really, really, truly grateful. Really. Darren, I'm so glad you found it was worth your time. Thank you, Kelly, Talia, Reality Check. I am so happy that you all joined us. I mean, those who did not, because I know Friday evening, your mind kind of switched. So some probably didn't even remember. But I am so happy that you joined us. I think next time we'll probably use WhatsApp to remind people because that's easier than email. But I am glad that you all are here and I am totally grateful. And I want to make sure that we leave you with all the nuggets and all the inspiration so that you can make a decision to invest in yourself. Oh, before I forgot, because I tell people I'm usually not focused on selling business. So I even forgot to tell you, I mean, I forget to invite my clients and all. I know I tell people I'm not the best businesswoman. I'm always focused on serving and not the numbers. But before I forget, for the mastermind that's going to start as a 12-week program that starts next week, Saturday. And I did put on a birthday special for my birthday. So if you sign up now, you can save in the total program, you can save $250 if you sign up between now and Sunday night. We do have, you could pay by the month if you wish. If you want to do that, you just shoot me an email. Dion, could you just put my email in the chat, please? You could send me an email, that is fine. We accept monthly installments, but my purpose really is to ensure that people could really get into the program and really get into themselves and achieve their goals. So that's what it is about for me. And that is what, when I hear the feedback, when I listen to people like Alicia and I listen to people like Dawn, like I say, it validates what I'm doing, that I know that I have found my gift and I know that I'm using it in the right way so that people too can find the things that set their soul on fire. And that's my mission. So I want to thank you so much, so much for spending time with us. And like I say, once you sign up, we will keep in contact with you. If you're interested in the program, just sign up when you go on charlenepedro.com. If you need to access the installments, you just shoot me an email. But we start on Saturday morning. All right. We start on the 30th of that Saturday, because that's tomorrow. We start on the 30th of January, but you have until Sunday night into Monday morning, Sunday night, to catch the 250 savings. And actually, I even forgot this. So if you register between now and Sunday night, you get the 250 savings from the total program, and also you get a coaching session, a complimentary coaching session. I forgot that. All right, so that was my birthday celebration. So I am rattling on. So I just want to thank you again. Let me leave you all to get back to your lives. And I thank you so much for making, at least for me, and I hope it was for you. I'm seeing some good comments in the chat. I thank Andrea for sharing with us. Andrea, I always learn when you share, so I must always remember to ask you back. So thank you so much, Andrea. I always learn from you. And to my tribers, my soul sisters, Alicia and Dawn, thank you so much for being with us and sharing your experiences. And we will definitely make our arrangements to celebrate in style now that we have completed. Yeah, we had a whole big celebration planned. So folks, goody night, and thank you again. Okay, so we will sign off now. Thank you, everyone. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Thank you so much. So appreciate you. Thank you.
Good night, everybody. Take care.
Yes. Bye, Dawn.
Thanks so
Bye,
much.
Alicia. You're most welcome. It's my pleasure.
Thank you.
Bye.
Have a good night, y'all.
Bye. Andrea, thank you so much, my dear.
You're welcome. Have a wonderful weekend.
Oh gosh, you have a wonderful weekend. I know
sure
you will. Oh gosh, girl, I know you will. Oh
I
my
sure
God.
will.
But
Yeah,
I
I
love
love
those
that.
tips, Andrea. I really love that. I'm gonna do
Yeah.
what you said. You see that
Yes.
whole about it's about me. I'm going to do that.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Trust
That's
me.
my
Trust me.
February goal. That's my February goal.
Listen, and
I'll
book
check it
time.
out. I'll
You're
check in.
better. You're better.
I'll check in.
Yes.
Book time with yourself. That's my takeaway. Book time
Yeah,
with
book time
yourself.
with
Yes.
yourself.
Good
Yeah.
time with
Yeah.
yourself. Excellent. Excellent.
Yeah.
I'm sick.
Great.
I'm
Night.
Bye.
All right. Have a good night, everyone.
Bye bye. Thanks, Andrea.
Goodbye.
Morning and Lucy.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you so much for staying on. Barbara, thank you for hopping on. I know you came on late, but we do appreciate you hopping on at that time. Thanks a million.
Hey, Charlene.
Hi, Dion. Thanks so much for your support. Much.
You're welcome. My internet dropped, so I didn't get a chance to drop the email address. So I hope you said it. If you
Yes,
stated it.
no, but I saw it. I saw it.
It came up?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it came up. It came up. It came up.
All right, cool.
It came up.
All right.
Yep.
All right, then, no scene. So are you going to send the recording out?
Yes, I will.
Okay.
Well, we took a long time tonight, so it will take a long while to go through. Yeah, and we didn't even need the breakout room because the flow was good.
Right, yeah.
So thanks so much.
All right, then. You're welcome.
And Nasrin knocked the ball out of the park with that one, boy. Did you see the spinning wheel to choose the?
Yes, what had happened, she called me and told me that the link that you had sent to her, it had a lot of setup time.
Oh, okay.
So I suggested that I told her I had seen that in another session I was in, and I said, okay, there's an app that you can go and download, go look for it. It's a random draw app or something. It's like a way of,
I love it.
And she got it, and she was able to download everything. Yeah. So we organized that behind the scenes for you.
Yes, of course, girl. I love it too bad. You see me getting excited.
I know. Yeah, so you could look at implementing that as well for future webinars. Download it on your phone, so you could do it as well if Nasrin is not available, if I'm not available.
Yeah, excellent.
And you can have that there.
What's the name of it?
Oh Lord, Nasrin told me, I know it has random draw app.
Okay.
I think it's yeah, just when you go to Google Store, just look random draw app, and it's like a Wheel of Fortune wheel, and you will see it.
Yeah. Thanks a lot. Thanks so much.
All right, then.
Much appreciated. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, take care.